I suggest that you do this too, and this for Asiatics. Go into one of the great historians that's recognized all over the world, David McRitchie. That's European. And they'll tell you in the history that black and white are legal statuses. They have nothing to do with complexion.
Nope, not at all.
And guess what? That's not just here. That's all over the world. Our people here who's been miseducated from European colonialism are the only ones that don't know it. And we keep on arguing the low status and then get mad because people treat us accordingly.
Right.
So when the Moors say that they not black, but
that's why they're talking status.
But they would say, "I'm a free white person."
Yes,
you're
now
dealing with status.
Go get the law book.
You ain't dealing with the color of the place.
Now, come on. And if we could get that, if we could get our people away from the emotions,
these black with the brown.
If we could get our people away from the emotions of defending a habit that we've been trained to. See, because just like the youth today don't know that a few generations ago, where there was still some consciousness left, if you called an Asiatic or African black, you had a fight.
That's right. Yeah.
Because they knew you was classifying them. But our people have been miseducated, and so now they think it's an identity. But I say to you right now, like, all right, red, black, and green, right? So I can pull down right now a map. Show you Tamari, Kibalan, you understand? Kamak, that you call Africa today, that people generally call Africa today. And you see any Asiatic that come from Africa, they will never come here talking about their Africans. They will come here telling you their national name. The people that do that African stuff is us here who trying to get back mentally. But we don't recognize that they recognize that we got mental issues. They don't debate with us, they just put a glass between us like everybody else and do business and get away from us before we try to destroy them, try to encourage them to give up their birthright, because they ain't giving up their birthright just because we gave up ours, because we want to follow behind emotionalism. It doesn't mean the desire to be free is wrong. That's not wrong. We've mixed it with miseducation. And we refuse to let that miseducation go, while admitting that we're miseducated. That's where our problem is. This is legal. This is legal Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition. Now listen. All persons out there where they're dealing with Bouvier's, Webster also has a law dictionary. There's multiple law dictionaries, but this is the major one that is used by all persons in government. And it's not just here. It's across the planet. And it deals with ancient and modern jurisprudence. And jurisprudence is the science that treats of positive law. These are fundamentals that should be given to anyone that has a basic education. And if anyone's talking about rights or rights of people and then don't know fundamental jurisprudence, they're already in trouble, because if somebody can be trying to help them and they won't even recognize who's trying to help them or who's against them. This is where our problem is. And so it frustrates people who may come amongst us and try to help us, Islam says, and we start getting all defensive and hostile when actually they're reaching out to us, only because we don't understand the language. And if it's not something that we're not familiar with hearing in the hood, we reject it. But that's wrong. We must understand we're in the hood because it's a caste system. But if our forefathers were ruling, we would not be in the hood. We'd be in the universities. You know, all they need to do is go into Comotan history and Comotan culture, and even coming up to when Islam was corrupted and put into a ritualistic system as opposed to actually a scientific system. And you'll see that libraries were as common in our homes as a kitchen is. Whereas now it's reversed. You know, and so now when most people get into Islam, they just look at the Quran, read the Quran, bounce back and forth. The symbols that they see of the hybrid persons that are in the East now, that's not Islam.
That's not Islam, that's Hadith.
That's exactly what it is. They ran Prophet Muhammad out. They wasn't hearing it.
That's Hadith.
Because the truth is too strong, it's too stern.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Now, and so what they do with the Quran, actually what it was is this. You had books on every discipline of life: biology, mathematics, calculus. Do you understand? Etymology, language, anatomy, And the fundamental of how it's all rooted would be in cosmology, which is the foundation of the culture, which is expressed in all the symbolisms in Kamat. This is why anyone that deals with any secret societies, at the base of their instruction is always Kamat.
Let me ask you a question here. I asked a few Moors this question. The Moors was the navigators of the 7 seas. How did the so-called white man get past the Moors get into Africa?
Look what you just said. Look what you just said. Look, this whole thing of taking us out. This is the diaspora thing. Here we go. Europeans thought the world was flat. Am I right? By their own records, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, check this out. Now, here we are, the Asiatics. We built all these pyramids, doing all this, as we like to say, God stuff. Right? All this deep wisdom stuff, right? And so we stand on next to the pyramid like this, mind our business, and all of a sudden, white man, who wasn't called white then, the records will prove that, we're making it retroactive again, falsehood, retroactive, came up, put chains on us, and took us to the hells of North America, and we've been catching hell ever since.
No, but
let's look at concept. This is not for you.
Right.
This is for people buying into that.
Right.
These same Europeans, if they got 50 feet off the shore and saw a dolphin, the captain was in trouble because he was a monster. Mutiny was the next step. You understand that? Meanwhile, they're taking hundreds and hundreds of all these wise Asiatics, that built pyramids, all these mathematicians, scientists, and gods of the earth type thing. And meanwhile, we're mesmerized because they're white people, never seen them before. And meanwhile, so they build up factories and stuff like they don't know nothing, but building up factories and we're just watching them because we're still amazed, you know, hypnotized. Then, before we can come out of our stupor, they chain everybody together and take just hundreds of people and stack them like sardines on ships, good ship Jesus and all this stuff, right? Anybody that fishes, anybody around here fishes? Right now, we can go out on the water. Summertime, right? When you go and fishing on that water, what do? You wear winter clothes. Why? Because you'll catch a cold as soon as the sun come down. Right? All right. Hold on. And you can't drink salt water, right?
Right.
And water is one of the most heavy and unstable elements. Am I correct?
Yes.
But it's necessary for any short voyage, less more long voyage.
That's right.
We brought water when we came up here in the van. Anyhow. Now, also on ships, in shipping lanes, you need ballast, don't you? Right? And you've got to have compartments to stabilize the water, and you need a lot of water, even for the crew, less more anyone that you're doing is cargo. And you got 300 and 400 people stacked like that. Let me tell you something like that. You know why they're all drawings? Because they're all drawings.
That's all.
So are you saying the slave trade never existed?
No, the slave trade existed, but not as they presented it.
Okay.
And the other thing that people need to know, a lot of the so-called plantations here in North America were Bonnevilles. And them Bonnevilles belonged to Moors.
Right.
When the European stole the history, he stole the good and the bad. So what happens is we keep coming into this knowledge with this self-righteous attitude that all slaves were Asiatics. Well, not true.
Right, I know that.
You know, now, and then you have this history of when the Christians took power, of them constantly lynching Moors, etc., etc., etc. That is Inca Divina policy of dividing the Moorish Empire amongst the Christian nations. That's why they did the Christian Black Codes of 1724, and I think number 3 is where they started commanding all the Asiatics to go to church or they'd be confiscated. That's where we got our go to church to Sunday tradition. It ain't got nothing to do with our culture. It has to do with European Christian conquest. Right here. The lynchings have to do with taking us out of power.
That's right.
The other issue is people need to pay attention to the history. Here, remember just before the Civil War, in that period, when they told it was Asiatics who were senators and congressmen, step down or die? Who do you think was in government?
Sure wasn't them, it was us.
And why do you think they tell the people that George Washington was the first president when he was actually the 9th?
No people. Right.
So they could block out that history so you don't start examining it and finding out that you're standing on Northwest Africa.
Mexican, same thing.
You're in Africa. That's why they keep building jails. You know, we do some stuff. I ain't got to tell you that. We do some stuff. How come we ain't never deported?
Right.
Because we home.
Because you're home. They just keep building jails.
They can't deport.
Now, and then look at King Alfred. You already know, brother's been talking about King Alfred for years, right? Doing all kind of radio shows on it, all kind of DVDs on it. But don't they keep missing the section in there? Give me King Alfred. I'll show you something that they keep conveniently overlooking. And you already know King Alfred is a military plan, and it wasn't meant for public review. And even when they issued it heavily redacted, and even then only pieces here, and then it takes scholars to really pick through it to really kind of understand, even though you got the concentration camps and other things like that. But let's look at this reality. King Alfred, being a military plan, you know what they talk about, and there's an interesting thing that we was talking about it on our way up here, because we already know, you know, the thing with the economy and all this crap that's going on. They talk about, as these Asiatics wake up, they say, you know, the time is going to come, you know, when the people are going to take to the streets with a desperate and dangerous will. Because they know people ain't going to have jobs, you know, whole deal, so they got to deal with this thing, right? And you know what, it's in there, and I'm going to express this to you so that you can go check it out on yourself on your own papers. It says they are bound to the continent by heritage.
By heritage.
Here it is, King Alfred Plan. Sinetta, King Alfred Plan, right?
Yes, sir.
King Alfred Plan, Executive Order 11490.
11490.
Right? So let's look right here.
Rex 84.
Let's look right here, and it's Rex 84 too, which you already know.
84, that's right.
Attorney General, preliminary memo, Department of Defense, right? This memo is being submitted in lieu of a full report from the Joint Chiefs of Staff. That report is now in preparation. There will be many cities where the minority, you know, that's one of the brands they put on us, will be able to put into the street a superior number of people with a desperate and dangerous will. Key, he will be a formidable enemy, for he is bound to the continent
By heritage.
by heritage.
Right.
Yeah. There you go, right there. Even the term black is in there.
Thank you, Sabir. He the man. Nature knows no color. That's Joel A. Rogers, one of the world's greatest known scholars, right? Here, another important fact. There is good reason to believe that the families and names as Negro, Moor, and their derivatives who do not have blacks in their coats of arms had Negro ancestors. Also, still another proof of the presence of early Negroes in England is that of the Moorish dance. Moorish dance because they're Moors. These are brands that was put on us as we lost power.
Right.
Now, and anyone can find that, you know, it's not a secret. But the point of it is that I'm saying to you, any scholar will find that. So why would a scholar debate that? And you see when the Europeans start changing the map, and you see North America, etc., and it'll say what? A Mexican.
Right, a Mexican.
And then Noble Drew Ali told the people that, oh, he a black Muslim guy,
Exactly.
because you know, he ain't from our sect.
Exactly.
What the hell? That's what our problem is. We don't want to deal with knowledge. Our people have learned to think that knowledge is corny, square, geek, all that kind of crap. When actually it is that is needed to bring them out of the condition that they're
into the
in.
marvelous
But our real problem is, and you know it, all you got to do is really pay attention. Our people is down with pictures.
Right.
You give them some knowledge and they go blank. You give them a book and their eyes get glassy. Oh, I'll get to it, you know, yeah, man, because what we really need to do is get down now.
Let me ask you this question.
Come on.
If we supposed to be following Prophet Noble Drew Ali.
No, stop. Let's stop.
All right, go ahead.
Let's get that concept out. If we supposed to be, it ain't about following.
Okay.
It's about studying what was presented, analyzing it etymologically and at law, and reclaiming your birthright.
Right.
Okay, now, if we are studying and examining Noble Drew Ali, why is it there's so many different sets of Moors? And some Moors believe this, some Moors don't believe that.
I agree with you 100%.
That's the confusion that we're going on too.
I agree with you 100%. Now you go into the FBI papers, COINTELPRO, and look at the infiltration, or what is known as the Great Sellout. And you'll notice that and a lot of people get uncomfortable. As soon as you get into the FBI papers and you look at this COINTELPRO infiltration and the big payoffs, all of a sudden, as they tried to dissolve the Moorish movement, your major so-called black movement organizations all started between 30 and 34 after the great sellout.
And with that, we say Islam, peace. Thank you, Brother Taj. It's been
Peace,
a pleasure,
brother.
brother. All right, my man. Beautiful, beautiful teaching.